Welcome to the Honest Entrepreneur Show, where I'm bringing you tried and tested advice to help your online business without any of the bullshit. This week, I'm talking all about how damn important I think it is to be authentic and give you some actionable tips how you can start to be more authentic in your online content. And before we get into it, in the spirit of authenticity, I've had a super busy week. I just got done writing the script for this episode right before we're filming. I've never even read it. So let's see how this goes. So let's start today by looking at some of the benefits of why it's important to be authentic online. Authenticity is so powerful in business and also life. People like people that are relatable. People like people that are real. People like people that are being their authentic selves. In business and marketing especially, people respond so well when people are being authentic. Even in the example of, let's say, the Kardashians, right? They're held up as this fake family, yet they were one of the seminal people in the reality TV scene, and they let people into their lives through their show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Love them or hate them, you cannot deny this was such a powerful move in terms of marketing their brand. They let people see the ups and the downs and the in-betweens and some of their most private moments. And this was so powerful. And I think the same principle really applies to so much of how we can market ourselves. Now, I'm not saying we all need to try and be the Kardashians, and I realize that reality TV is contrived and doctored to some extent. But the whole basic principle of it being reality is why people gravitate to it still, because it's about as close as we can get. You probably see this in your own buying habits and in terms of the people that you follow. But if we feel like we actually know the person, we often are so much more likely to actually buy their course or follow their content. When we feel like we know their character and know what they're all about and we can resonate and connect with them on a personal level, there is no more effective thing when it comes to how you actually market yourself and connect with your audience. Being yourself is also one of the best ways you can differentiate. It's a busy, noisy landscape out there, but no one is quite like you. No one else on this planet has that unique, special mix of weirdness that makes you up. So embracing that and being your authentic self is like the ultimate USP. Can we do a ding, like a USP, unique selling proposition or point? The trouble is that being your authentic self in your online content is much easier said than done. Often, if we stick a camera in our face and start to talk or start to write a blog article, it doesn't look or sound much like us. We can show friends and loved ones and they're kind of say, oh, that doesn't quite seem like you, or something seems a bit off. And we can see that in ourselves. It's like, why do I look so awkward? Or why do I sound so weird? This is often the thoughts that creators have when they start producing content. And it's a really weird thing. We put up this kind of mask, we put up this filter, and it's not even deliberate. We just kind of change, our viewpoints can change. We're kind of spitting out this stuff we don't really mean, maybe because someone else is saying it or we think we should be saying it. The tonality of our voice change, how we move changes. Like, it's a really odd thing, but it happens to me, or it has happened to me a lot. It happens to virtually every single creator out there. And like all good things in this life, I think the only way to overcome this is practice. I remember when I first started filming on Instagram, I do these little selfie videos holding up my phone, and it was ridiculous. But to get one 60-second video, I sat on the edge of my bed, just like this, and I sat there for 1 hour. I must have done 100 takes and going, oh no, that was terrible. Oh no, I sound weird. Like, oh no, I hate it. And over and over again, I was nervous and sweaty. I felt like I'd run a marathon by the end of it. It was really stressful. And eventually I put this video out, and not only did it get a positive response, but no one cared about all of the stuff that I was being insecure and paranoid about. And now I can sit down like this, couple of cameras on me, and I can just spit out whatever nonsense is on my mind and normally get it down first take. And I just don't care as much. When you've done 100 videos or even 1,000 videos versus one, you will see your true self starts to come out. You start to get more comfortable. It's like anything. I've been doing a bunch of interviews on other podcasts recently, and when I first started doing these, I was really nervous. I was like, do I have to look a certain way? Now I just jump on and I just say what's in my heart effectively, and I never think twice. And it is the most rewarding thing, to be honest. Now when I sit and do these videos or I do live webinars and stuff like that, I'm more myself. Like, if I want to curse, I curse. If I want to call out people's bullshit, then I do that. Like, I say whatever I believe in, And then I hope that the people who are similar to me or care what I have to say resonate with that. And if they don't, then that's cool too. And not only is this, I believe, the most powerful marketing that you can do, but it's incredibly freeing in your wider life. I really think that through doing this type of thing, it's made me more confident in my personal life. I remember I gave a best man speech for my little brother. And I hate public speaking traditionally, but after talking shit on a podcast with my friends every single week for like 2 years, it came really naturally. And I didn't get the shaky hands I used to get, and I could deliver it that much better because I was so used to just speaking all the time. Like it's a very good way to harness that skill. And trust me, I am definitely not a natural at this. I hope I continue to improve. But man, if you compare now to like early stage videos and podcasts, the difference is stark. And I think that's really common. So if you feel like you suck, we all suck at the start. Just don't worry about it. So aside from just practice, because I realize that is good advice really in theory, but you might want some kind of more tactical steps here. So aside from just practicing, what else can you do? What specific tips can I give you to start being more authentic in your content? So number one is put out a piece of content sharing some personal facts about yourself and encourage your followers, audience, community, whoever, to do the same. I've done this myself more than once. I've encouraged my followers to do it, and we've all seen great results. It's a really powerful thing. So in a world where everyone's being pushy or fake or whatever it might be, if you actually put yourself out there and say, hey, I wanted to share some of myself with my followers. Thanks for appreciating my content, and here's 3 random facts about me. And I can't remember the ones I gave. It was something like it was this super geeky like under 8 county chess champion or something like that, and I don't know, I can't sing or whatever it was. It was 3 random personal facts, and I said share your 3 facts in the comments. And I think that's, to this day, my most commented post. And I see it time and time again. When people do this type of post, it really over-indexes. And the comments are so rich and warm, and everyone starts getting to know each other. It humanizes you and it humanizes your followers. There's something so amazing when these dialogues start happening, because your followers hopefully start leaving their facts and they start chatting amongst themselves as well. It's like, oh, cool, you're from Canada too. Like, oh, you like hockey too. You're a chocoholic as well. Like, whatever it might be, people start bonding. And this is like basic human interaction, right? We like to find commonalities. And when you share personal things about yourself that your audience most likely didn't know, you'd be amazed at how many are like, oh, I'm like that as well. Or like, I'm really, into that hobby, all that kind of stuff. That's how you start to feel real connection growing. So by sharing your authentic self more, you will deepen that connection with your audience in so many cases. Number 2 is share your lows and your harsher realities, not just your highlight reel. I really think that this kind of fake plastic Instagram world is dying right now. People are sick of it. Like, people don't want to see that shit anymore because they've got all these like glossy models and influencers who are just too perfect. They're unrelatable. People have become kind of blind to that. And I feel like right now, authenticity, I say this all the time, authenticity is becoming the new currency. The people who are starting to really stand out are the people who are being themselves, who own their personality, who share it all. And even in kind of wider influencers who preach all types of stuff, they will occasionally do a post where they share like their struggles with mental health or depression, or that they had a shitty week, or some of their hard story of like how they got to where they are. Those posts always over-index again. So not only are they great in terms of like how you brand yourself and being real, but they actually perform great as pieces of content. I see this all the time. There's a model who I know on Instagram. She is normally like, got the makeup on and very glamorous, and women look up to her. She did a post like no makeup, close up, crying to camera, talking about how she'd had a really tough like mental health time recently. And it got ridiculous comments. I'm talking like 50 times more than a normal post, and she gets a lot normally. Outpourings of support and people saying it means so much that you talk openly about this because I'm going through similar stuff. And I see that play out all the time. I think having the courage, having the bravery to actually put your lows out there and not just try and fake it and be this glossy, like perfect influencer, that is how people view you as a human. That's how people care more about you and relate to you. And I just think it's so powerful. It's so real and it's so worth doing. Let me put a caveat on that. Never do this shit to like fake authenticity. You don't do it to be like, I'm going to get like 20% more likes by exploiting people's heartstrings, tugging on them, sharing my story of woe. It's not about that. It's just about being real. Number 3 is share what makes you different and geeky. Embrace your differences. I think it's so powerful when people go all in on what they're nerdy about. Like, we all care about different stuff. And when you show that passion, like, we don't have to try and be like super hip or cool or whatever in our content. There's people nerding it up who are like, Dungeons and Dragons is life. And you know what happens? Like 98% of people don't give a shit. But for the 2% who are really into that with them, they're all in. They're like, right, we're kindred spirits. And so again, by sharing those things that you're geeky about, that you really care about, these little idiosyncrasies about you, that's how you start to build human connection. That's how you start to be more authentic in your content. Number 4 is don't mimic others. And this kind of ties into everything I'm talking about, but it's very, very damaging if you're trying to be like that A-list influencer or that person you look up to. If you're mimicking how they speak and what they talk about, that's really dangerous because they're going to be able to be them a lot better than you ever can. And no one's going to be able to be you the way you can be you. So the sooner you get that self-awareness and really harness what you're all about, the sooner you're going to start building your audience and building a tribe of people that resonate and care about that. If you're just a second-rate version of someone else, that's really going to be a roadblock for you. I can already see some of the comments coming. Don't worry if you're like, but I'm not full of pep and like positive, poly and all that kind of thing, so I don't really feel like I can be myself. There's a whole spectrum of humanity, right, in content. I follow people that are like incredibly rude and offensive but funny with it, and I follow people that are kind of bitter and sarcastic but funny as well, and people that are like really mushy and positive and sunshine and rainbows, and I wouldn't want to see their stuff all the time, but when I need it, it's really useful. And the whole spectrum of like whether you're negative, positive, helpful, like cutting, whatever it is, whatever you have to offer, trust me, that is the best approach. That's definitely better than mimicking someone else. And number 5 is don't be afraid. Like, try not to hold back. We all hold back. I know when I've done these early videos like years and years ago for Design Cuts, my company, I'd have like the grey wall behind me and I'd be sat there looking a bit like a hostage, talking awkwardly. And I think this is how I do a business video, and I'm delivering my message to the camera, and this is all very stilted and boring, and it would suck. Recently, I did a live call where on a whim, we decided to do a live game show webinar, and myself and one of my team had these like glitzy gold jackets on. We were spinning a wheel so people could win prizes. We were talking all kinds of shit and joking around and having fun. And when you start doing that and you're not kind of holding back, it's really, really powerful, and it's fun. Like, it's so much more fun to be yourself than be like, I guess I need to slip into business mode here. And again, I can see some of the comments coming like, well, I work in a more corporate arena, so I can't afford to be super wacky, or like, you know, I work for this company, but at weekends I go binge drinking and do meth, so I don't want to show that on camera. Of course, there's dividing lines, right? It's kind of extreme example with the meth. Of course, there's dividing lines. Like, you don't need to share it all. You don't need to like live stream your sex life or something like that unless you really want to. It works for some people, but you need to at least share some of that. So I'm still getting this now, you know, I'm increasingly able to like be kind of goofy or joke around and make shit dad jokes and share the music I'm into. All these little things, they kind of start to come out in my content, and I believe hopefully that makes me more interesting as a character rather than me sitting here and regurgitating someone else's advice in someone else's style. So just try and feed as much of that in as possible, but of course with the context of who you're doing it for and the room that you're playing to. Anyway, hope this episode helped. I hope you're feeling fired up to be your authentic self. Let me know how it goes. As always, like, your comments, they're my biggest motivation. So leave a comment below with your thoughts on this and your plans. Like, how are you going to implement some of this stuff? Are you going to go try the post sharing your fun facts? Did you try it? Did it work? Let me know. But I would love to know, in fact, let's do this. I'd love to know in the comments. Leave a comment about what makes you authentically you. What are some personal traits that are unique to you? Let me know in the comments, and I will hit you back in the comments there. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. Before running my current company, I worked for over a decade as a website designer. Today, I'm sharing how you can instantly improve your website. I'm talking better conversions, clarity, and performance. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode. Really, really appreciate you being here with me. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe right here on YouTube. Remember, tick the little bell icon so that you get proper notifications. I really hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you'll stick around for the upcoming episodes. I really want to keep bringing you as much value as possible. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you guys soon.